Okay, you guys, here is homework number, or here's your guys' homework on the remainder and factor theorem. Okay, so for the first one, you guys want to find all the factors of this polynomial right here. So you do know one factor, and we're going to use this factor in order to make this polynomial 1 degree less, and then from there we can factor it. So opposite of 2, you guys, is -2, and we're going to write down our coefficients. So -2 goes into 1, you guys. -2 times 1 is -2. -2 plus -2 is -4. -2 times -4 is +8. And 8 minus -5 plus 8, you guys, is 3. And -2 times 3 is -6, and 6 minus 6 is 0. So that's good because we know since we get a remainder of 0, you guys, that means x plus 2 is a factor, which it clearly stated. Now, since this started with a degree of 3, you guys, this is going to be x to the second power, 1 degree less, and this would be x. So what we really have, you guys, is this polynomial, x squared minus 4x plus 3, and this is something you all should know how to factor. Your x method, a times c is 1 times 3 for 3, and your b is -4. The two numbers that multiply to 3, but when you guys add it gives you -4, it's -3 and -1. And since a is equals to 1, you guys, you just use the two side numbers. So we have factors of x minus 3 times x minus 1, and then don't forget the factor that they already stated, the x plus 2. Okay, number 2. Given that x plus 1 is a factor, so the opposite of 1, you guys, is -1. And the coefficients of this is 1, 2, -1, -2. Drop down the 1. -1 times 1 is -1. Add 2 plus -1 is 1. 1 times -1 is -1. Add, we get -2. -2 times -1, +2. Add, we get 0. And since it's a degree of 3, this is 1 less than that. So x to the second, and this one's x. So what we're really dealing with, you guys, is x squared plus x minus 2. So let's factor this out more. A times c is 1 times -2 for -2, and your b value is 1. The two numbers are multiplied at -2, but when added gives you guys 1. That's 2 and -1. And since a is equals to 1, we just use the two side numbers. X plus 2 times x minus 1. And don't forget the x plus 1 that was already in the original. And those are factors. Number 3, so they say x minus 8 is a factor. So opposite of -8 is 8, 1, -7, -28, and 160. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 plus -7 is +1. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 plus -28 is -20. -20 times 8, you guys, is -160. So since this is a degree of 3, we got 1 less degree here and 1 less degree there. So now, you guys, we gotta factor this one out to find all of our factors. And again, x method, -20 and 1. The two numbers that multiply to -20, but when added gives you guys 1. That's 5 and -4. And since a is equals to 1, that means we just use the two side numbers as our factors. And x minus 8 is our original. Okay, number 4. Okay, now we have a degree of 4, you guys, and they give us two factors. So we can use both of these factors to use synthetic division and get the degree from a degree of 4 to degree of 2. And then we can factor out that quadratic. So opposite of -3 is 3. 1, coefficients. Drop down the 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Add, you get -1. -1 times 3 is -3. Add, you guys get -4. -4 times 3 is -12. Add, you get 4. 4 times 3, you guys get 12. So if this is x to the fourth, that means when we did synthetic, this will be 1 degree less. But let's use our other factor on top of this to do another synthetic division. 1, -1, -4, and 4. Using these now. -2 times 1 is -2. Add, we get -3. -3 times -2 is 6. We add, we get 2. 2 times -2 is -4. We add, we get 0. So, if this was x to the third and we did synthetic division, you guys, this will be 1 degree less than that. So x squared and then x. So we're really dealing with this polynomial right here. And if we do x method, 2 up top, -3 on the bottom, the two numbers are multiplied at 2, but when added together gives you guys -3. That's -2 and -1. And since a is equals to 1, that means we just use the two side numbers as our factors. So x minus 2, x minus 1, x minus 3, and x plus 2. And these are our 4 factors. Okay. Number 5. Now, does everyone see you got to solve the equation, right? That means our final answer should be x is equal to something. So they gave us one factor, right? So the opposite of -1 is 1, you guys. And coefficients 1, 4, -19, and 14. 1 times 1 is 1. Add, we get 5. 5 times 1 is 5. We add, we get -14. -14 times 1 is -14. We add, we get 0. And since this was a degree of 3, you guys, this is going to be 1 less than that, and then 1 less. So we have this as our polynomial, and we could do x method, -14, 5. The two numbers are multiplied at -14, but when added together gives you guys 5. That's 7 and -2. And since a is equals to 1, this is where you guys use the two side numbers. So x plus 7, x minus 2, and we originally had x minus 1, right? Now all of this is equal to 0, you guys, because it says the equation is equal to 0. Now we have to solve for x, because it tells you guys you need to solve for the equation. So for this one, what value of x would make that 0 if x was equals to -7? Here, x gotta be equal to 2. Here, x gotta be equals to 1. Number 6. Okay, they gave us a factor of x minus 5, so if we plug in 5 and write down the coefficients, we should get a remainder of 0. And I know that because it tells you guys that that's a factor, and anytime you guys have a factor, that is a remainder of 0. 2 times 5 is 10, add -1, -1 times 5 is -5, add -6, -6 times 5, -30, add, you guys get 0. That's x to the third power, you guys, so this is x to the second, and this is x. So we're dealing with this polynomial, you guys, but now we gotta factor this by doing x method. So a times c up top, so that's -12, b on the bottom, which is -1. The two numbers that multiplied at -12 and when added together gives you -1, that's -4 and 3. But do you all see that a is greater than 1, right? So that means we gotta factor this by grouping. First term, the two middle terms, and the last term. 2x squared minus 4x plus 3x minus 6. Group. We can factor out a 2x from there to get x minus 2. We can factor out a 3 from there to get x minus 2. So we got 2x plus 3 times x minus 2. Don't forget our original factor of x minus 5. All of that's equals to 0. Now for this one, you guys, x gotta equal to 2. This one, x gotta equal to 5. Now for this one, you guys, you have to set that factor equal to 0 because it has a coefficient of not 1. So solve for x, subtract 3 to both sides, and divide both sides by 2. X is equal to -3/2. So x equals 2, x equals 5, and x equals -3/2. Last one, number 7. We got a factor of x plus 2, so opposite is -2, 3, 10, 9, and 2. Drop the 3. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Add, we get 4. 4 times negative 2, negative 8. We add, we get 1. 1 times negative 2, negative 2. We add, we get 0. So 1 degree less than x to the third, you guys, is x squared, and then x. So we got this, and now let's use our x method to factor this. Now, a is greater than 1, you guys, which means you guys gotta factor this by grouping. 3x squared. These are your 4 terms, right? Plus 3x plus x plus 1. Group, sloppy, group and group. We can factor out a 3x to get x plus 1. We can factor out a 1 only because there's nothing else we can factor from there. So it's 3x plus 1 times x plus 1, and don't forget your guys' factor of x plus 2. But remember, all this is equal to 0, and you have to solve for this, which means we gotta get an x equals something type answer. So for this one, x gotta equal to negative 1. For this one, x gotta equal to negative 2. For this one, we have to set that whole thing equal to 0 because it has a coefficient of not a 1. Subtract 1 on both sides, divide both sides by 3, x equals negative 1/3. And those are your guys' 3 answers. Okay, so hopefully you guys, this helps you guys out, and you guys just, practice, okay? Good luck, peace.